Welcome to the Songwriter Connection, the podcast that delves deep into the art and heart of songwriting. Each week, we gather around the dining room table to uncover the stories behind the songs. We invite you to join us on a journey to the creative minds of the songwriters who shape the melodies of our lives. From Nashville, Tennessee, here's your host, Dave Lenahan.
Well, they say the first million's the hardest, right? I hope that's the case because now we're into our second million, and I want to thank you for making that happen. Worldwide streams, over 1 million. We just had our big release party, celebration party for 1 million, and our new award at the Commodore Grill just a couple of weeks ago. But again, I want to thank you for making it happen and for spreading the word. This is episode number 177. If you're listening on the morning that it's out there published, it's October the 9th. And our guest today is one I've been wanting to have on the show, well, since we started this thing in January of 2021. She is Lauren Mascitti. How are you, Lauren?
I'm doing fabulous, Dave. I'm so excited and honored to be here and be a part of 2 million, episode 177.
Yeah, 177.
Yes, sir. I'm so excited and honored to be
And
here.
we have Nana, too.
Yep.
Thanks, Nana, for coming as well. Do you know, when you were on American Idol, Nana was like, she was the star as well.
Oh.
Does she have her own fan page and everything?
You know, she is on Facebook and Instagram as Nana D. Mascitti, and everybody just calls her Nana. She's everybody's Nana.
And on your Facebook page, you say, I'm not ashamed to admit Nana's cooler than me.
Oh, she absolutely is. Like, I admit that. I mean, I'm just, it's her world. I'm living in it. And if you know, I want to be heard when I grow up. So
you want to be her.
Yeah.
There's your idol right there.
Yeah,
right?
It is.
Good.
So, but it's funny because whenever I was on Idol, like, people would see me out, and this was after COVID. Like, whenever I was voted off was like right in like mid-March when all the shutdowns were happening in 2020. And
tough time.
And so we would go to like Costco or something, and especially because we had...
My cat is...
That's totally fine with me. Anybody that also knows me is that I'm a crazy cat lady, so...
There must be a closed door. She hates closed doors. Anyway, I'm sorry, cat lady.
No,
yeah,
yes.
but I'm glad that you love cats.
Absolutely. I got one of my own, my Siamese named Waylon. He's my son.
I love that. It's Waylon. Anyway,
But,
she interrupted you, not me.
Oh, well,
the cat.
That's fine. That's fine. She's a Nashville cat.
She's a Nashville
Yeah.
cat. You know, I'll tell you what, when I first moved here, it was 2013. I've been coming down a lot just to write and to play different rounds and things. And I knew eventually I would live here. But I remember after moving here, going to a writer's round at the Maxwell House, Millennium Maxwell House in town, where Lee Riscone, who
dear friend of ours,
dear friend. And I was playing in the late show. So I go up to the bar, and my favorite bartender, George, is up there, just going to grab a beer, and I hear this angelic voice. And I'm like, ooh, what? I said, forget the beer, George, I got to sit down. And I'm listening, and I watch you. And I'm like, oh, my God, this girl is for real. So I go up to Lee, and who's this? Because that's Lauren Mascitti, and I never forgot it. And I followed you from that day. So it is an honor and a pleasure to have you.
Oh, well, thank you so much.
You were bitten by the bug. Music chose you at a very early age, huh?
It absolutely did. I was so blessed to get to grow up in a church. Shout out Trinity Gospel Temple in Canton, Ohio. Brother Dave Lombardi.
That's right. You're from Ohio.
Yep. Northeast Ohio.
Me too.
And and I was so blessed to get to grow up in the church environment that I grew up in. And, you know, I was raised and adopted by my grandparents, my Nana and my Papa. And my Nana, of course, has just the greatest taste in music. And I was raised on a lot of really great gospel music and Motown. And Nana loved a lot of soul music. And, of course, both Nana and Papa love classic country. But especially Papa loved a lot of, like, the renegade songwriter types, like Waylon Jennings.
Wow.
It's funny, the guitar that I played, the Black Gibson Dove, was his dad's. And his dad gave it to him, and Papa gave it to me. And
how old were you when he handed that guitar down to you?
Oh, I don't even remember. I've had it since I was too young to remember. I don't know. Whenever I started getting more serious about guitar was when I was like 12, 13.
So might have been around there.
So, yeah, probably around there.
That's so cool about that guitar. It's such a beautiful sounding guitar. Strum it one time for us.
Yeah.
Listen to that. Wow. passed down. There's got to be a song about that, Lauren. Have you written that song
Actually, I have not. I haven't, but that's a good idea, actually. That'd be a good thing to do.
This old guitar.
Yeah.
Passed down from generation to generation.
Mm-hmm.
That's a heck of a story.
Oh.
Now, I read that you recorded your first record when you were 8?
Yep.
And then a couple more when you were 10?
Yep.
What took you so long?
Well, like I was saying, that church that I grew up in was just so great in the development of what I have become, what I am becoming, whatever I am. But
whatever I am.
Yeah. But Cheryl Jameson, a woman that was in our church choir, incredible singer.
Mm-hmm.
From the time I could remember, she was the leader of our church choir and beautiful, incredible singer. And when I was little, I used to look up at her like she was just this rock star, and she was. And her husband, Terry Jameson, ran sound for us at our church. And he was also like a gold record winning sound engineer, and he had gold records with like REO Speedwagon and Styx and Dan Fogelberg, and and Cheryl had toured with a lot of different church ministries and led a lot of worship groups, and so anyway, we had a little studio at the back of our church, and so when I was 8 years old, they produced a little gospel record on me, and that's kind of what gave me the bug. And so I had that little CD, and Nana would take me around to different churches in the area and just stick me up on stage, and I'd sing whatever played. We'd be in our kitchen half the time. Nana would be, pointing out the notes and stuff, teaching me all these gospel songs, and it just kind of expanded from there. We started going across state lines, and
by the time you're in your teens, you're playing Branson, right?
Yeah.
Lots of shows.
Yep. So it's wild because knowing that I started so young, like 7, 8 years old, and putting myself in Nana's shoes and looking at a 7-year-old kid, like I always loved to sing. Even like from the time I was 3 years old, though, writing was always a part of that too.
Really? As young as 3, you can remember?
Yeah, I loved the creative process. I had a little toy tape recorder that I would record these little jingles in and play them back and try to make up rhymes and stuff. And I always loved to write poetry growing up. And it's funny because my papa is a long distance truck driver, and so at the end of every little jingle I'd make up, I'd say real deep in the microphone, "Let's see how it turned out, bud." But I love to sing, but I also knew from a very early age that I love to create, as well. And so, I was involved very heavily in gospel music. And when I was 12 years old, I had belonged to a Christian talent organization. It was nationwide, but Ohio didn't have a division. It was called American Kids. Wow. And they had different competitions throughout the country, and it was for all kinds of different performing things. I also danced too. I had dance choreography numbers in it. I had singing.
That I didn't know.
Yeah, wow. and so I competed in different categories, and it was just a lot of fun and something to help me cultivate what I love to do. And so like I said, Ohio didn't have a division, so the first time we went, we had to go to Chicago, Illinois, and so I won.
Rambling town. Anyway.
Well, I won for the state of Illinois and got to go to the Nationals for which the headquarters was in Branson, Missouri, and so the Nationals were held in Branson, and every year they would have it at a different theater, and that's kind of what got me going to Branson regularly. But the first time we went, we stayed, and I don't know if anybody remembers the Jim Bakker Show.
Oh yeah,
he's PTL, but he's got his own new Christian TV show out there in Branson, and has for a lot of years. He and his wife Lori, and so whenever we went, we visited the Jim Bakker Show, and we were sitting there, and you could make out these little cards that were sitting on the table saying what you did and where you're from, and so I said I'm from Louisville, Ohio, and I'm a gospel singer, And so the producer of the show came out and said, "Oh, we heard you're a gospel singer." And this was before the show started. And she's just like, "Well, do you want to audition for our studio audience?" And she and she said, "Well, we don't have any time for you to sing today. We already have the show planned out, but we would love to have you come back if everybody
Wonderful.
likes you." And so I sang and everybody clapped and she came out and said, "Yeah, that was great, and we don't have time for you today, but if you would like to come back, and we'd love to have you on the show." So we sat there, the show started, and Jim came out, and the co-host that day was a guy named Gary McSpadden, who
Oak Ridge boy,
yeah,
right?
original Oak Ridge boy,
Yeah.
and he had even sung with Elvis. Just incredible, beautiful voice, and a long history in gospel music, and
Incredible.
And so he was the co-host that day, and so just the show started, and out of nowhere, Jim started talking to me at our table, and he's just like, "Yeah, I heard that there was a little girl out here that was singing," and he said, "I don't know, I've never heard you.
And how
Would
old
you
are
like
you now?
to-"
You're like, how old then?
12? Oh, this was 12.
You're 12.
Yep,
You're 12.
I was
Okay.
12.
Okay.
And he's just like, "Well, I don't know, because I haven't heard you. Would you like to sing for me?" And I'm like, "Sure." And so I got up and I sang "Taking It Back" on the Jim Baker Show. I grew up in a shouting church, so we're pretty charismatic, and
wow.
So anyway, Gary wanted to talk to us after the show, and he's just like, "Yeah, I have a Southern Gospel Sundays show that I do at the Americana Theater, and I would love to have you on the show this Sunday if you're still going to be around." And so we were going to be around, and so we came to the show. He gave us tickets, and I sang on Gary McSpadden's Southern Gospel Sunday show that Sunday.
Incredible.
And so after the show, he said, "Lauren, don't leave. I want to talk to you out in the lobby before you leave." And so he met us out there, and he said, I'm wondering if you and your Nana would want to move out here and be a part of my show. I want to have a Christmas show this year, and I'm trying to, find some people to be in it, and I would like to know if you want to be in it. And we're just like, "Hold on, let me think about that." Yes. And,
So you moved from Louisville to
yep,
to Branson.
We moved to Branson. We lived out there for about 4 or 5 months, and I was in more of his Southern Gospel Sunday show, and then that transitioned into the Christmas show, and
Wow.
and it was one of the most wonderful times of my life.
I'll
and
bet you were making a name for yourself.
yeah,
at a
the
young
sweetest memories. I was out there with another gospel group, the Brown family from Iowa.
Wow.
Larry Moore, an incredible country music singer,
good
songwriter
stuff.
out there, and Gary was in it, and just the people that were around me. It's wild how people touch your life in different ways.
It really is. Yeah.
Especially Gary. He had written songs himself, and I'd never really been around songwriters up until that point, and
Right.
and real musicians. Like being out in Branson is what made me really want to hone in on my guitar skills and just things to help me be able to create. And so Gary is the one that said, I have some friends in Nashville, and he knew I wanted to write too, and he's just like, I think you need to start going to Nashville. And so when Nana and I moved back to Ohio, we started coming back and
Doing
forth.
little trips back and forth.
Yep.
That's how it always starts, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So listen, before we go any further, and I want to. There's another reason why you stayed in Louisville for a while. We're going to talk about it, but I got to hear a song from you. We've had you on this show for 13 minutes, and we need a song.
Of course.
My goodness, Lauren Mascitti is our guest. Amazing artist, singer, and writer. Lauren, play something.
Well, I'll do y'all a song that I got to do on American Idol, and it was inspired by my Nana that raised me, and I just got to thinking one day what a incredible Proverbs 31 woman she is, and I also got to thinking about how blessed we are as women to live in the greatest country in the world, and how sometimes we get carried away thinking and trying to prove we can do everything a man can do, that sometimes we forget the things that make us unique as women and the really beautiful things. And I wanted to put all those things into a song, and I got to do it when I was on American Idol, and I guess we'll talk about that a little bit later.
Fantastic.
But
Love this
it's
song,
called God Made a Woman.
There you go.
alone. So God made a woman. He took a little beauty, took a little grace, a whole lot of passion and a whole lot of pain, put it all together and gave it a name. Yeah, God made a woman. God made a woman to hold the hand of the sick and the young and the broken man, to fall in love and fill the land with beating hearts of fire. What you gonna do when the night gets cold and you need somebody to feed your soul? He said it ain't no good for a man to be alone. So God made a woman. We're the mothers, the daughters, sinners and saints, the able, the stable, and a little insane. But honey, you can't get us out of your brain, 'cause God made a woman. We're the keeper of the child that cries, we're the singers of the lullabies. We'll take your lonely and make alive, 'cause God made a woman. Yes, He did. God made a woman to hold the hand of the sick and the young and the broken man, to fall in love and fill the land with beating hearts of fire. What you gonna do when the night gets cold and you need somebody to feed your soul? He said it ain't no good for a man to be alone. So God made a woman. He said it ain't no good for a man to be alone. So God made a woman.
Lauren Mascitti, our guest on the Songwriter Connection podcast, the song that got her into the American Idol right there.
Yeah.
I remember watching the audition, and I remember you were there with Sean Camp, who's one of my favorite songwriters, and I remember Luke Bryan really went crazy, and he loved your performance, and the rest is history. And we're going to talk about that. From Louisville, Ohio, so a fellow Ohio person, you just got back from playing at the Ohio Opry, right?
I did. Those are some dear, dear friends of mine.
And now we've got lawnmowers
You
to
know,
compete. We do this show in my dining room, at my dining room
You
table.
gotta do what you gotta do. The lawn's gonna look amazing.
Yeah, that's my neighbor cutting it. If you'd only be cutting mine. But anyway, I'm sorry. So you were at the Ohio Opry.
Yep, the Ohio Valley Opry.
Tell me about that. What is that?
I've been playing there since I was a teenager, really. The Clark family, Marvin and Dina Clark, and they're just incredible. They have this house band. Some of it is made up of their family. Some of it is made up of friends that are like family. They're some of the dearest, most talented people I've ever known. But Dina plays keys and sings. Marvin plays telly and sings, and he's also written a lot of like bluegrass stuff. He's had a lot of cuts by the Lonesome River Band, and I mean he's an incredible songwriter. But
Very good.
and then my down in Amish country, Ohio, Sugar Creek, I used to take guitar and mandolin lessons at the Hummingbird Music Studio from a guy named Rick Troyer, who for years, he's like family to the Clarks as well, and he was their steel player for a lot of years, and I think that's how I got involved with them.
You've been doing that for a while, huh?
Yeah.
I've seen video. It was awesome. It was incredible.
Thank you so much. It was so much fun. It always is, and I try to get back up there. It's at the Twin City Opera House in McConnellsville, Ohio, and I try to get up there at least once a year, but
Well, you know, and not the only Opry you've played on, because you've been in the circle. You played the Opry.
God is good, Dave.
Tell us a little bit about that experience, man. That had to be like
Oh my goodness. Well, it's funny because I told y'all earlier about my my black Gibson Dove that I play. It was my papaw's, and before it was papaw's, it was his dad's, and so my whole life I told Papa, if I ever get the chance to play in the circle at the Grand Ole Opry, I'm going to play Grandpa's guitar, and not ever thinking that it was actually going to happen, but after I came off of Idol and I had God Made a Woman out as a single.
Which did very well, by the way. Very well.
Thank you so much. When I was on Idol, the day after I was voted off, my record, which the record was called God Made a Woman, the record went to number 4 on the iTunes country chart, and the single itself went to number 13. God is so good. It was the best thing that ever happened to me. But,
Incredible.
But so May 7th, 2021, because of the exposure from Idol and things kind of picking up with my music career, I got to actually step into the circle and play Papaw's guitar, and Nana and Papaw were in the audience, and I got to point them out.
Isn't that something?
Yeah,
I don't think I've heard a better Opry story than right there. That Grandpa's guitar in the circle. Come on,
yeah.
You got to get writing on that.
I know I do.
That's
I'm
amazing.
Missing the boat here, working too many night shifts.
and that's what I wanted to talk about next.
Yeah.
One of the reasons why you didn't come to Nashville at a very young age is because you had another passion as well, and you're a registered nurse.
I am. Yeah.
You know what I always admire? I used to work at the Ryman, and I used to love to give the tours.
Yeah.
And we'd go into the Women of Country room, and we always talked about the different ladies in there. And I always pointed out a picture of Tammy Wynette, and she's writing, and she was so beautiful. And Tammy always kept she was a hairstylist, and she always kept her license up to date.
Yep.
Because in case this music thing doesn't work out, right?
Yeah. Well,
and you kind of do this. You're a nurse.
Yeah.
So how is there enough hours in the day for you?
Well, it's nursing has been such a huge blessing to me, not only because of the kind of work that I get to do, but my grandparents, like I said, they raised me, adopted me. My Nana is my best friend, and thank God for good parents, because before we moved, Nana's just like, well, we'll move to Nashville with you, but you got to get a degree first. And so I went to school up in Ohio, got my RN, and we moved after that. But,
I just applaud her for that. I mean,
oh my gosh,
it's just amazing. Yeah.
It's been the biggest blessing, though, because, I mean, my schedule gets to be flexible. I can kind of pick and choose my hours around my music schedule. Everybody I work with is just so supportive, and especially when I was on Idol and I had to take off, and I mean, it's been a huge.
Do the patients ever go, "Hey, you're that girl from"?
Yep.
They do all the time.
They did, especially when I was on, and it's funny because, like, a lot of times when my coworkers will transfer a patient to me or something, they're just like, okay, well, tell her she's got to sing for you now.
I was going to ask, do you ever sing for them?
Oh, yeah, all the time. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, but it's such a huge blessing. I can't say that enough.
That is awesome.
I love getting to be a nurse.
I love the fact that you get to do both things that you love.
But I will say, though, about the Women of Country dressing room backstage at the Opry, that's the dressing room I had for my Opry debut. I've gotten to do it
really?
like 6 times now. Hopefully it'll be 7, then hopefully it'll be 8. But
isn't that incredible?
But I've had the Women of Country dressing room a few times, and for my debut it was the Women of Country dressing room, and I think they did that on purpose. But I remember
inspiration there.
Oh, there is,
yeah.
And I got to do God Made a Woman. That was one of my songs that I did during my debut, and as I was rehearsing it backstage in my dressing room, just thinking about the lyrics of what God Made a Woman mean to me, and what they might have meant to the women in all those photos looking down at me, Tammy and Patsy, and I mean, I was looking around and I just started sobbing, like 5-10 minutes before I had to go out, and I'm like, what am I doing? My mascara is going to be ruined.
Oh my gosh.
But anyway, that's
how emotional.
Yeah, it was really a powerful moment, and then I had to pull it together.
I can't imagine, but you did, and you did well. Wow, that's fantastic.
Thank you.
What a story.
Yeah.
Amazing. So you had a single that came out this summer a duet.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about that and how that came about?
Yeah, so I guess it's been almost a couple years now. I've been working with a guy. He was a founding member of Lone Star. His name is Dean Sams. And he has become one of my best friends in the whole world. And so about a year ago, he introduced me to another guy who has also been a dear friend of his for a long time, a guy named Kenny Hass. And he's from the Chicago area. He and his wife moved to Nashville for a short time and then ended up moving back to Chicago, which is a good thing because he and his wife just had their first little one, so they get to be around family. But anyway, the first song that the three of us wrote together was a duet, and it's called Drive Me Crazy, and we finally released it a few weeks ago.
It's a great song.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I'm
Is that one you can play, or
about
would you rather me play it off of like Spotify or something?
Yeah, Spotify would be great.
Yeah, so we can play, so you can hear both Lauren and Kenny.
Yeah, so it's a duet with me and Kenny that Dean Sams produced, and he also co-wrote the song, and he's also the one singing the third part harmony on the choruses.
Ooh,
so
okay,
yeah.
Well, let's give it a listen. Here we go. Lauren Mascitti is our guest on the Songwriter Connection podcast.
I had it all figured out, how I wanted everything the way it was. DIY, independent on my own, never needed crazy love. Thought I was alright, turns out I was wrong. You were born to drive me crazy. Got the wheel and the pedal down. I was born to love you, baby. You were born to drive me crazy. I dug my heels in the mud, giving up on everything and everyone. After all of that dying and crying, I told my heart I had enough. Yeah, I wrote every line, but you made it a song. You were born
Lauren Mascitti along with Kenny Haas. That's the new show that came out in July of this year, and it's streaming everywhere. Please find it and add it to your collection of stuff. Lauren, we're going to take a little break, but when we come back, we're going to get into that idol stuff. Is that all right? You want to talk about that?
Fine with me.
All right.
You're listening to the Songwriter Connection with Dave Linehan. Find us on Facebook and YouTube at the Songwriter Connection Podcast. And find Dave at thedaveconnection.com. Now back to the show with your host, Dave Linehan.
We thank you for sticking with us and for listening to the Songwriter Connection podcast, streaming everywhere. We've got a new episode that comes out each and every Wednesday. So you get up early in the morning, have coffee, and make a Songwriter Connection. And if you're listening on YouTube, even though we're not a video podcast as of yet, please click and subscribe because that really helps us. All right? Appreciate it. Lauren Mascitti is with us, and I'm so happy and thrilled to finally have you here at my dining room table playing songs and singing.
I'm thrilled and happy to be here at your dining room table. This is so much fun.
I remember, like I said, I discovered you long before American Idol, just seeing you in rounds around here. Cheered you on through the whole Idol experience. In fact, talked about you on the radio a lot. He said, watch this girl, watch this girl.
Thank you.
And in my opinion, you should have won that year. That was your year.
Thank you so much.
Nobody's got a voice like you. What an experience. What can you share about that?
Yeah, my experience was wonderful. I never really thought that would be a route that I would ever go, and I don't know why. I just I decided somebody had messaged me like on Instagram, said, hey, I work for blah blah blah, and I think you should send in an audition video, and I talked about it with Nana, and I'm like, should I do it? And she's like, well, we don't have anything to lose, and so I did, and made it to the live auditions, and just everybody that I worked with was wonderful. My whole experience, the thing I love most about Idol, and something that this show will appreciate, and the audience will appreciate, and you'll appreciate, is that it's like they encourage artists to do songs they've written if they're songwriters.
I love that. And that's kind of a recent thing for them, really. That wasn't from the beginning. No. So they said, go ahead, knock yourself out, but play original music. And that's what you did. Wow.
And it was, I just loved my experience. And,
I'll bet.
And I came in 21st place, which is first if you're playing blackjack. But, I just, in every aspect of my life.
Success is how you look at it, folks.
Course.
I've always said that,
I just believe in every aspect of my life, American Idol included, that God's plan is a lot better than my own plan.
Absolutely.
And it always works out to be that way. So
is it true?
Yeah.
All the time. Wow. Amazing experiences. And you made good friends, I'm sure, huh?
Yeah. They were all extremely talented. And another thing that I loved as the takeaway from that, and especially something that I learned like during Hollywood Week, when I did God Made a Woman, was, I think there was like 167 contestants that was whittled down to 40 by the end of the week. It was like 3 rounds in 4 days, and we're running off of maybe 6 hours of sleep over the course of 3 days. And
can you imagine?
It was crazy. And I just kept hearing all these incredible voices and all these different styles: pop music, soul music, R&B, and at the time I was doing primarily mostly traditional country, Americana, acoustic singer-songwriter type music, and I just kept listening and thinking, man, do I have what it takes? Is this what they're looking for? And is what I bring to the table enough? And being in situations like that where you're comparing yourself to other people's gifts, it's like, it puts you in a really wild position, and so I made it past the first round. I did a Crystal Gayle song that I grew up loving, "Don't It Make Your Brown Eyes Blue?"
Great song.
Yeah, "Don't It Make My Brown
Richard
Eyes
Lee.
Blue?"
And
Richard Lee. And the second round was the duet round, and I partnered with another Americana guy who was awesome, and we did Jackson, and like just kind of seeing how the thing that I thought was maybe making me stand out as not being, enough. It actually is what, made me unique enough to be like, oh, we don't have, a traditional country artist in the top 40. It made me stand out. My uniqueness and sticking to what I loved to do was what was getting me through.
I'm so glad you're saying this.
Yeah.
I preach this all the time on this podcast. Worry about genre. Do your thing.
Right.
Be you. You are unique. You.
Yeah.
And here you are telling this story.
And it's funny because, I love all different genres. I grew up singing all different
But you've
genres.
I've heard it said that country has always been in your heart, though.
Oh, absolutely. Well, the storytelling aspect of it, especially, and I just love it all. That's why Linda Ronstadt has always been one of my biggest heroes, is because she did everything for no reason at all, other than she just loved it, and they were stories that she wanted to tell. And
absolutely.
So but I loved learning that about myself, and it kind of gave me more confidence to be myself.
There you go.
So
it did wonders.
It was great.
You're happy for the experience and stronger and better for it. Mm-hmm. That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Well, I want to hear another song from you.
Yeah.
You do a lot of writing on your own, but you also do the co-writing thing. And you think it's important still to do a lot of solo writes, isn't it?
It's wild because Nashville is such a co-writing town. But growing up in Louisville, Ohio, there wasn't really anybody to write with, and co-writing is a completely different thing than solo writing, and I still think my thing is solo writing. That's where I'm most comfortable. It's my comfort zone. I'm a lot more insecure in co-writes, but I also love co-writing because when you find people that you jive with, and I've met so many wonderful people. Getting to be in a room, doing what you love with people that you love, getting to share in that is such a great experience. It's two different things, but I love them both.
So what's the best song ever written?
Oh, the best song ever written?
The last one you wrote, right?
Of course, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Why is that?
I don't.
Yeah, you're a little
It's
baby.
the shiny new thing.
It's the shiny new thing.
Yeah.
There you go.
Now, I thought you were asking what is the best song ever written,
but if I did, you would say,
in my opinion, it's Vincent by Don McLean.
Ooh,
that song in and of itself. That's
Starry Night.
That's my gold standard song.
Is it really
perfectly crafted, poetic?
Oh.
Poignant.
Craft. We're going to get into the craft in a little bit, but I want to hear a song from you.
Yeah.
Well, tell me about the song and go write solo write. Tell me all about it.
Yeah. I'm gonna. I don't know. Let me see. What am I gonna play right now? I could do
something that goes with a lawnmower.
Something that goes with a lawnmower.
Got the lawnmower again on the next neighbor.
I'm gonna play a song for you. I'm getting ready to go up and do the Louisville Sons of Italy Italian Feast.
Nice.
And this is a song I wrote by myself. But
Italian Feast.
We were talking earlier about how you're part Italian.
Yep.
I'm Italian, of course. Lauren Mascitti. Yeah, we're cousins.
Yeah.
And so I'm getting ready to go up and do the Louisville Sons of Italy Italian Feast in Tappan, New York. It's about 25 minutes outside of the city. And I've been doing it for almost 15 years now.
Wow.
And those guys up there, they're members of the Sons of Italy Lodge, but they're also like a lot of actors in Law and Order and The Sopranos.
Wow.
And they're the Italians that talk like that, like, hey, don't worry about it. What's the matter with you? And it's funny because like
jelly.
Yeah. And whenever
Analyze
you're from the Cleveland area of Ohio, and I'm from the Canton area.
Right.
And in Northeast Ohio, there's a lot of Italians. But when you come down to Tennessee, there's not so many.
Not so many.
And and those guys up there are just like family to me. They're like uncles. And so when I moved to Tennessee, I started getting called a Yankee. And I'm like, I'm from the Midwest. Like, I never even thought about that. But
I'm an Indians fan, not a Yankee.
Yeah, I know. And so anyway, I just thought I would write this song as an ode to the people that I love in the Northeast. And it's called Forget About It.
Forget About It. I love it.
Well, hey, baby, welcome to the family. There's something that you ought to know about my Uncle Paulie, my big brother Vinny, and my daddy, old Crazy High Joe. They're okay, but let's just say you better not be fooling around, 'cause my last man who sent me home a-crying is sleeping with the fishes now. So say you love me and don't let me doubt it. Oh, baby, you can't forget about it. Yeah. Well, it ain't all bad. Just wait till you've had my Nona's world famous cannoli, or Mama's lasagna, a chicken piccata will send you into matrimony. Just don't be mean to your Yankee queen. No, don't go messing up my mascara, 'cause in Nona's kitchen she might go slipping something in your marinara. So baby, be true, there ain't no way around it. Oh, baby, you can't forget about it. Yeah. Alright, I'm gonna introduce y'all to my family now. Here we go. We got Big Petey, Little Petey, Blackjack, Lamborghini, Silent Louie, Cousin Stewie, Freddie the Frog, Tugboat to Gino, and Sal Di Martino. Who knows a guy who knows if you've been doing me wrong? So do right, baby, that river's getting crowded. Oh, baby, you can't forget about it. Yeah.
River's getting crowded.
Well, one more time. We got Big Petey, Little Petey, Blackjack, Lamborghini, Silent Louie, Cousin Stewie, Freddie the Frog, Tugboat to Gino, and Sal Di Martino. Who knows a guy who knows if you've been doing me wrong? So do right, baby, that river's getting crowded. Oh, baby, you can't forget about it. Yeah. I have a feeling you guys are gonna be paisans in no time. I know a guy. Forget about it.
I love it. That's great. Crazy. Big Petey, Little Petey.
It's funny because a lot of the names in that song are actually people that I know. And Silent Louie was my grandfather.
Really?
Yeah. I knew Freddie the Frog from Canton. I mean,
Freddie the Frog.
Uncle Paulie, he's the one that has
I had an Uncle Paulie too. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Mario and
Yep.
My grandfather was Russ. My uncle was Russ. My brother was, you'd say Russ at a family reunion, and everybody turn around. And his real name was Rosario, but when it came from the old country, they say, you're Russ.
Russ, yeah.
You're Russ.
Or Vinny. We have a lot of friends named Vinny. Yep.
That's a great song. Did you write it by yourself?
I did.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's so darn clever. Man,
thank you so much.
Let's talk about your style a little bit.
Yeah.
We could talk about your vocal style, which is absolutely incredible.
Oh.
Sometimes you have that little yodel in with
Thank
it.
you.
Amazing. It's developed over years and years. Your songwriting style, where'd that come from? How do you approach a song?
Shoot, I don't even know. Like, it's different every time. And it's funny because, like I said, I relate to Linda Ronstadt so much because she really didn't have, she did it all, she loved it all, did whatever spoke to her, and that's kind of the way I've always been. Starting out in gospel music, I even, growing up in gospel, I did all the subgenres of whatever gospel music was, contemporary, Southern gospel, soul gospel, everything. And so, I don't know, whenever I sit down to write a song, I just kind of let the story lend itself to whatever style makes sense with it. Where,
I got you.
melodically, I don't know. I think it just kind of depends on the mood, and I've written a lot of different styles. Like lately, I've been writing a lot of kind of R&B soulful type stuff,
really?
like bluesy.
Well,
and because I'm on I've loved Delbert McClinton my whole life, and so I'm kind of on a Delbert style click.
Oh, that's great.
For a while, but I don't know. It just kind of comes out the way it comes out.
Comes out the way it comes out.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I understand that. I'm talking about things like structure and melody. Do you go into, and I imagine it works a lot of different ways. Like you said, there's probably no one answer to this, but do you find a lot of times it starts with like the hook or the title of the song?
Yeah, usually I'll start with a hook, and I'll sit down and kind of mess around with some things on guitar, chord wise, and kind of come up with a mood or a vibe that fits whatever the hook is lending itself to. And usually I'll start with the hook. I'll come up with a chord structure and a melody first, and then I'll fill in the lyric around the hook after that, once I know kind of where the melody's going to go.
Kind of work on the bones, the structure first.
Yeah.
And when you're there. And I like that approach because, and I'll do that sometimes, because sometimes you get a melody in your head and the words seem to like sing to you.
Yeah.
Do you find that happens?
Yeah. Always. That's usually the way I do it. Is it the way I do it every time? No, but that's usually the way that I go about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in the co-writing session, I'll find myself saying that. Would you play that melody one more time? I just have to hear that melody. Would you play it? And I go, Dave, play it. Just play the melody.
Yeah.
To me, and I don't know if you're the same, but it was the melody that always first drew me in. And then the lyrics put me away.
Me too. Yeah, that's always. I love melody, and whenever there's a melody that just draws you in, it makes you want to pay attention to what it's saying.
It sure does. Yeah. It sure does. Yeah. So fantastic. And you said something interesting to me. I don't know if we were on mic or off, but you were saying that you would be just as happy writing songs for other people than performing, and that surprised me because you're such a great performer.
Oh, thank you so much. I love performing, and I'm always going to be doing it. I don't know. Success is on a sliding scale, and the older I get, I'm just like, as long as I am getting to play music I love to people I love, doesn't matter where it's at. I'm in this for the long haul.
Absolutely,
and
me too.
Whether or not, like, if I'm able to sustain myself and make a living playing music, that's success to me. So whatever comes with it, it's like, I can't not do this,
It's like you listen to my podcast. These are the things I preach. You define your own success.
Yeah.
And I think that's where happiness evolves.
Absolutely.
You're doing what you love and what you have a passion for.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. I admire you for that.
Thank you so much.
I
I love writing music, and the creative process is something that, I eat, sleep, and breathe. And so I would be elated if artists wanted to take what I create and just make it explode on a bigger platform than I would be able to do myself. That I would be 100% okay with that.
Wonderful.
And I've been blessed to have a few cuts. I haven't really attempted to pitch any of my stuff yet because I've always been, writing for my own projects and stuff. But Brooke and Darren Aldridge recorded a song that me and Christian Bearfield and Bill White wrote
my
together.
buddy.
Yeah,
we worked on radio together. Bill,
yeah. And he's a dear friend.
He's such a good guy.
But that was a huge blessing this year, and it's.
How did you feel when you first heard it played back to you?
Oh my gosh! Well, the first time I heard it, because Brooke and Darren are just so wonderful. They're just such precious human beings, and they asked me to
trying to get him on this podcast for a long time. Eventually, we're going to someday.
I'll put in a word.
Put another word. I've talked to her so many times about it.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Well, they were kind enough to ask me to sing harmony on the recording as well. And so the first time I heard it was when we were in the studio, and I was there to record with them. And it was just beautiful.
Wow.
It was so cool.
Wow.
And three-part harmony with them on a song that
Crazy.
I was in on. Like it's like a high. You know,
I bet.
Not
sure
that I
was.
would know.
Yeah.
Not that I know, but
Yeah.
you know.
No. What kind of a better high would there be?
That is the high.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What a great story. Well, let's hear another song from you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll play you one. We were joking earlier about your most recent song. If you ask any songwriter what their most recent song is, it's always or what their favorite song is. It's always going to be their most recent one. And I wrote this one pretty recently, and this is one where, like I was saying, my preferred way of going about writing a song is to have the hook first, and then come up with a chord structure or a melody, and then fill in the lyrics after that. And this was one of those that I wrote in that way. But
awesome.
I was sitting
Solo
on my
right?
bed.
Is this solo right?
Solo right. Was sitting on my bed feeling sorry for myself one night and wrote this song, and it made me feel better.
Good. That's what music can do.
Right. Yeah. It's called Hard to Be a Girl.
Oh.
Said I was too young back in my younger days. Now they say I took too long, 'cause I'm over 28. No, I can't win. I'm just trying to begin. They said go fall in love, have a kid or 3, but I lost some of myself when Mr. Right was wrong for me. A long roadblock in my race against the clock. And you're so pretty when you smile. You should do it more, they say. Just get rid of all the laugh lines you pick up along the way. Freeze it, fill it, fix it, honey, file it away. Oh, I know you've lived a little, just don't show it in the face. And make sure the number on the scale stays down. It's hard to be a girl in this world right now. Be a mom, be a dad, be a boss and rock the cradle. Bring home a little bacon and have dinner on the table. By the way, don't ever let them think you're not okay. There's no box big enough to hold the hats we have to wear. We even crucify each other on this cross we have to bear. And you think the pressure's worth it when you reach the top at last. Break through that big old ceiling just to get cut on the glass. And if you spill a little blood, they take your crown. Yeah, it's hard to be a girl in this world right now.
That's incredible. You gonna record that one?
I am at some point.
Yeah.
I haven't done it yet, but I'm going to.
What's next for you?
Well, I have. I've been working on some stuff with my friend Dean Sams of
Dean
Lone Star.
Sams, yeah.
I'm really excited about. He is producing a lot of stuff on me, and
Good.
And taking me in a direction that is different than anything I've ever done before. He's making my sound bigger, a little bit more progressive than I've gone before, but in a way that I'm really creatively proud of, and it's still a timeless sound. It's just a little bit bigger and different, you know. And I'm really,
but yet so you, huh?
Yeah, it's still me. I'm really excited about it,
fantastic.
And so I'm working on getting a lot of that stuff wrapped up so I can start releasing some of it.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Dean Sam's great guy.
Yep,
in fact,
he is.
Quite recently on the show we had JKA, just Kelly Adams, who also works with Dean Sam.
Yep.
For years in Lone Star. And, so big name. So that's cool.
Yeah, and I'm excited for Jess too. She's such a sweetheart and so talented.
She's something else.
And
what a personality.
Yeah,
oh my
she
gosh.
is.
Her laugh just kills me.
Yep.
Yeah.
You
But
feel
anyway,
it.
Yeah, you feel it.
I was super blessed to get to write a couple of her singles, Homemade and wow.
And another one.
Yeah, another one, Homemade, and wow, I'm blanking on it.
And I'm blanking on it. That's all right, don't worry about it. It happens to me all the time. Squirrel. I even wrote a song about it. Squirrel.
Yeah, I just told you.
No, I forget to.
Man.
Hey, it's all right.
This getting old stuff is for the birds,
It
man.
ain't for sissies now, is it?
Oh, Hold On to Me. That was it.
Hold On to Me.
Homemade
Okay.
and Hold On to Me.
Very
Me and
good.
Dean and Jess Kelly wrote that together. Yeah.
Fantastic. Super. We can find you online where?
So, LaurenMascitti.com. That's LaurenMascitti.com.
Mascitti.
Yep. And I'm on all the socials, Lauren Mascitti, or if you want to see where I'm going to be playing, it's LaurenMascitti.com, and I have all my shows.
Yep.
I'm really excited. Anybody that's in the Indiana area, I'm playing, it's for St. Elizabeth's Catholic Charities. It's a benefit that I'm doing in, let me see, it's A Night on the Farm. I'm bringing my Nashville band with me. And it is
October 18th is what I have written
October 18th.
Yeah.
And I have a screenshot of all the information. That is in Charlestown, Indiana.
Okay.
At Christiani Farms. That's 1034 Market Street in Charlestown, Indiana. That's going to be October 18th.
And you do a lot of the festival stuff too, like the Island Opera Festival. That's got to be a blast.
Yeah. Oh, Island Hopper. I'm doing Island Hopper, Pensacola Songwriters Festival. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't you love doing that?
Those are so much fun.
I saw you a couple of years ago at the Gatlinburg Songwriter. What, they're not really doing that anymore.
Well, they just got done doing one. It's a little bit smaller now. Everything that they have is at the Gatlinburg Inn,
Which I
the
love that
legendary
place.
Gatlinburg
Love it.
Inn.
Yeah.
And that's where Rocky Top was written,
Yep,
you know, by
right there.
the Boulot
Yep.
and Felice.
Yes.
But anyway, no, they're still doing it. But it's become like a smaller, more intimate thing. And I personally,
Did you play it this year?
I didn't because I was playing the Ohio Valley Opera. I was messaging Victoria. I'm like, I'm so sad. But anyway, yeah, I usually do it though, and I love that they have all the events at the inn because you get to see everybody's show. You know, that's what it's all about.
And that's where we stayed. And my favorite part was the jamming until 2:00, 2:30 in the morning. Everybody would show up with their instruments, and it was a hootenanny. We just had fun.
Yep. Calling
Calling out the songs and just playing and picking all night long. Can't beat that, huh?
Yep, for sure.
Well, listen, we wish you all continued success. And I just am so thrilled that you took the time out of your very busy schedule to come to our humble little podcast and write and sing songs around the dining room table. It's my favorite thing.
I love it. This is I love talking about the creative process and with another fellow songwriter. I mean, and you're wearing a Chief Wahoo ball cap.
I did in your honor.
This is the best day ever. Well, thank you so much for having me. And there's cats here.
And there's
my
cats.
favorite thing.
Yeah.
So this has been so much fun. Thank you so much for having me.
Love you, cuz. Thank you for being
Love you, cuz.
We hope you enjoyed this intimate glimpse into the world of songwriting and found inspiration in the stories shared by our talented guests. Remember, the magic of music lies not only in the notes and chords, but in the emotions and experiences woven into every lyric. Until next time, keep listening, keep creating, and keep the melodies alive.